Hello YouTube, I'm here from Noodle Studios and today I'm back with another Photoshop tutorial. Now what I'm going to be going into today is the Photoshop preferences and some of the options that you can change within Photoshop that will greatly enhance your experience with the program. So I've just got a normal document here, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. To access it you just come into Photoshop and then preferences, and here you can see a whole menu of all of the different areas of preferences you can go into, but for now if we just go into general we can then switch between them here. So I'm going to be going over the preferences that will impact you most and help you most, more rather than the more advanced ones which you may not want to tweak. So this is just going to be a quick one which hopefully will help you a lot. So here you can see that there are different color picker palettes, all of these sorts of different things. We've got the export clipboard. This can be one which you may possibly use. So for example, your clipboard is basically copying and pasting things. So if you untick that, then if you write I like cheese in Photoshop and then copy it, if you try to go into Word it won't be able to paste. So you could use that if you wanted to just copy things within Photoshop but not let them affect what's happening outside with your internet and Word and all sorts of things. Then we've got things on whether you want animation, whether you can zoom with the scroll wheel. This is a very handy feature if that's what you like. And so there's all sorts of stuff here as well. And if we come into the interface, this is also very good. We can change what kind of color, or we can select a custom color. We can do whatever we want here. We can choose whether we want menu colors, whether we want tips or gestures, whether we want things to be floating, what kind of language we want to use, or the font size. You can change this. So if we put this up to medium, then maybe not in these areas, but in some parts of the program we will see a change. So some of the things don't affect the whole program and that's fine. Oh no, sorry, here we see that it says changes will take effect the next time you start Photoshop. So if you restart, then it will show that. So then we've got file saving options. So we can see whether we want to save previews, what kind of Camera Raw things we want to save. We can also change how many files the recent file list contains. Now this is a big one for me personally. I actually wasn't aware of this option before, so I'm actually going to put mine up to 20 files because I use the recent file list a lot. That's from when you go to File and then Open Recent. So we've got that, and then Performance, we can choose how much RAM you want to let Photoshop use. So for example, you may have 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'm actually running an iMac and I've upgraded it to 16 gigs, which is really good. So here it's saying that it wants me to use 10,000 megabytes out of 16,000 megabytes. Now I can adjust this, so if I'm going to be running other programs in the background which I think will need it more than Photoshop, then I can fiddle with this and change it. Then we can also change what kind of hard disks it uses and different history options. We come into cursors. This one some people will like to adjust more than others. You can choose the different cursors, you can change what sort of brush tip it has, and then you can also change these colors here. So if we wanted to leave it like that, then all we have to do is press OK and then that will start to apply. Okay, so if we come into transparency settings, then we can see what kind of colors you want on the grid. You can change this color of the grid. So for example, if we wanted it to make it a light blue, then we can press OK, and then if we hit OK again, if we don't have anything, then this will be the transparency thing. So if you know what I mean, usually it's a white and grey, and we can change this so that if there's nothing there, then we see these colors. And so you can change both of these colors here. So we could have this one if we wanted as a black even, and then you can just do whatever you want. But I think that it's best just to keep it in a nice simple white and grey, how it defaults to. And then we can come into units, so if you want to change it between centimeters, pixels, inches, I might actually change mine to pixels because I do more stuff like that and I reckon I'll find that handier. You can find like the guide color. So for example, if it's normally cyan, if you want it to be black, then when you bring out a guide here, it's going to be a black line. So I reckon I'll leave mine like that. I like that actually. So you can see that there are a lot of good tweaks you can do to enhance how your program works. And you can change your plugins, your type, and your 3D. So if these are a little different. So here you can choose the video RAM. So for example, I think that this has 1 GB of video RAM. So if you have a graphics card, that will likely have dedicated RAM as well as the other RAM to help with more graphics intensive things like video and of course Photoshop. So here you can say that this is the max that it's going to use, and that's actually all of it. So I might just tone that down a bit. And so that's basically all of the different preferences, tweaks you can do in Photoshop. Well, of course, that's not every single one, but those are the main ones. So I hope that you've learned a lot from today's tutorial. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this video. And also make sure you check out the rest of my beginners Photoshop tutorial series. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.